Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of the MPPA Hour, where the country know both radio and television SLBC in England. And me, we they moderate this program, and in TJ Cole and Nami they also produce. And of course, say the Ministry of Political and Public Affairs then charge them with the special responsibility for promote government programs and bring them to a position, explain what I would call public education, talk to them on radio, television, social media, whichever way, so that people then could debate and discuss it in there. And today we get another government program who we want to talk about. And for help me do I get master savvy people who we can call alleged in the day in the studio. I get for instance I get Reverend James A. Lahai in the national coordinator. At the National Election Watch, we they call new, and of course I get the masters of it possible come on at the National Electoral Commission itself, where now Mr. Sheku C. Johnny, they can explain to you about this process we they call civil registration, where if you not register, if you're a Saloma, no matter how you big or you small, you day big, you get money, you don't get money, you not go able vote, you not get voice for say I want this person for rule me or not for rule me. Please, so this is important. Don't pay attention today. And of course, we also get with very, very important and clever. The man, in fact, he had not only brains and then a Professor Usman Bla. He just come out South Africa. He go do big today for salon. They can't tell you about how they pass, what happened there, what not happened there, but it come in fully loaded. And of course, last, when they say charity begins at home, but we not to so we not political affairs, we not people that we care about the public as well, not the politics no more. Now, in people left, we young minister, we're not the figurehead, we're not the leader, we're not the person we put the whole ministry together, and that now no other person than the lady herself, Madam Nanette Thomas. Yesterday, even there now the Salon Parliament, you do one or two things a day for letting us say democracy they work in this country, because you get the executive, you get the legislative, and you get the judiciary. These are the three arms of government where they run democracy. And then for sure says really truly Salon good governance they play. And that is why Madam Nanette Thomas they also for explain what happened at Parliament yesterday and what we need for doing it also before any election begin in the country. Ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to the MPPA Hour.
Thank you very much.
Let's begin with you, Madam Minister. Yesterday, I witnessed something where I not ever, for the women in this country, I don't vote. Look, we are all on wait. I don't ever see how minister they go first go talk say, oh, well, when one begin the election, let's do this, let's do this. But yesterday, I sit down in the Parliament. You go able to throw lights. What happened yesterday and why we need for do that today, yeah?
Thank you very much, TJ. Fambulem, in the afternoon. The moderator don't announce say Namina the Minister of Political and Public Affairs. Yes, he correct. My name is Nanette Thomas. He say for explain about the laying of papers and why he get forbid my ministry. Well, my ministry in name don't already spell them out. Ministry of Political and Public Affairs.
Right.
And when they say Ministry of Political and Public Affairs, they deal with two important variables. The political, where more or less the ministry, they're in charge of all the political parties them in the country. Then again, it's sonko anything will happen, at least then can knock na midomot, will try to solve the problem for them. The public, everything what they happen with the public. Once the public unhappy, it affects my ministry. And if Minister of your ministry not able to solve the problem, it even affects the president. But when they talk about the laying of papers, I've been there in my office, now in the clerk of parliament, give me a call and say, Madam Minister, you therefore can lay the instruments them regarding to the elections. Now I say, what do you mean? Now I say, well, that's the process. Just like what TJ himself say, now the first 10 this year, so in year, Mr. Sef, now the first 10 this year, so myself aware of that. So I get for go there, then give me two documents them. One, they talk about the parliamentary elections. The other one, they talk about the presidential elections. and I get for ask the Speaker of Parliament and the honorable gentlemen them, the honorable members of Parliament. I beg them for let they allow me for make I lay the documents them. But why don't lay the documents now? They get for discuss them na Parliament. Why they get for discuss them? For make them go agree for say yes, the election dates them where they don't states the parliamentarians them agree for say then go with them.
So, madam, this, what's not the significance of this? Is it necessary, or we not just grab say, well, the whole election come the 7th of March, all my will grab go vote. Why we need to do that kind of ceremony there?
No, well, actually, now for let everybody know say democracy is at work in this country, and I'm glad the way we get the APRM executive chairman now. So, in fact, when we go Kenya the last time, we proved to the Kenyans then for say we young country we completely different. Democracy is at work because when they go Kenya, we care person from opposition, we care person from civil society, we care the disabled and all of them. So we get for do them so we not go say government go just come and say pap for go do so no. Then get parliamentarians them where they both now the government and the opposition and they all get for come together as one word for make they agree for say the time for the date for the parliamentary election and the date for the presidential election. They all the support that and we all get for work together and vote that day.
So, Madam Minister, please, I will still there on with you. So, how long it would take them for they will pull word now? So, people have all about now this country will not say the election will truly and genuinely all the dates where the president's been tell with.
I'm really not too sure, but I think they get for take something like about 21 days.
3 weeks.
Yes, 3 weeks.
Beginning from yesterday now.
Yes, you get for take something like about 3 weeks for make them debate time and all of the incidents. It's unfortunate that the person from Parliament where we invite for can discuss now, so not show up. Sometimes I'm busy because when I call the clerk of Parliament, they said they get meeting na State House. Sometimes they don't get them hold up na State House. So now that's make they not come. But I like the democratic process in the country. If you now observe where NEC then come up with the dates and everything, then can go give the president. And once the president don't endorse them for say yes, I approve, then the NEC chairman they go ahead, he announce the presidential date. Then the president, they announced the parliament. So it's a real process.
Right.
And honestly, I'm so proud of my president. I don't think we could have a better president than President Koroma at this time. Because they listen radio who's down there where he say he meets with the international community and he say, you know, once one day after the date where they don't put next day. And the show say, now a good leader, now a principled person, he know exactly what he wants, and they think about Sierra Leone and about the betterment of this country. Right. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Okay. On that note, we say thank you very much, Madam Minister, and we now will watch us and listen on SFBC Radio, una FM 100. Anytime you in this country, now the MPPA hour, now you listen to right now. We try for promote and popularize government programs, and notably today now the time for can talk about this registration who all done the event, but and it will begin on the 20th of March. In offer again today now the 15th of March when a Wednesday. So we can talk about time, we can look at all the so I want to tell the minister thank you.
But before I go,
yes. Because
Mr. Cole, fumble them. Mr. Cole just begin to talk about the registration. This registration is a different one, and it's so important. If you want for vote, you get for register. Waiting with money and say, put your mouth where your money is. For vote, now you write. People not say you no vote. Don't let around now where other people vote, you begin for grumble. No. And this voters registration is so important that this one they make, you can even use them as passport for travel. So, excuse me, now West Africa. if you want for go open bank accounts there 15 and day, you go able to use them. So do you me I want beg, especially the woman them, because with the woman them, now with the born the man them, now with the 30 picking and I will be left for 9 months, say them born, you go able for convince you man, you brother, you sister, you picking them all. Say do ya, you na come out na do from next week the 20, let you na go register. Do ya even the one that serve them bookman and bookman and some of them and then can say, ah, but dear me, I don't get time. Try let you get time, make you go register, because sometimes tomorrow you go want job. And one of the prerequisites them go ask you say if you got a voter's ID, you been vote, you been register. If you never for produce that one day, it go be a problem for you now. I tell you now, thank you. Let God bless you all in this country, and let God make the election come. We not get one song call like how it been be the last time. Because 2012 election, even the international community, they mean congratulate we Sierra Leoneans then for say now one of the most peaceful and credible elections we Sierra Leone don't get.
Inshallah, so it could be this time around. Well, on that note, we tell the minister thank you, and we'll take a short break. But when we come back, my member say we get Professor Usman Bla with travel. I don't know if not to like 20 or 30 or 40 country for help good business go South Africa and go bring good governance. Can't show me because they have only but good governance with the talk. And of course, we also get Mr. Sheku Sijoni in and they can teach me. They take me one by one. They explain that bone. They then go play time with they see the bone marrow where they inside. They say, I beg about. And that is what we are going to do here. And of course, we get we get Reverend James A. Lahai in the national coordinator new when at the National Election Watch in the remote way Mr. Johnny will talk. The two of them they go educatory and from time to time Professor Bla will come in. So let's take a short break and when we come back, the MPPA will continue on television and on radio. So stay tuned. No go away, just this time don't touch that dial. When we come back, the MPP hour continues shortly.
Announcing that parliamentary and local council elections will be held a little over a year from now on March 7th, 2018.
Well, if you're just joining us, this is now the SLBC television and the MPP hour. Now you will watch on your screen. If you listen to me now also on your radio, FM 100, now the same MPP hour where they bring government programs and how to make them popular so that you could benefit from the kind of government where you vote and from the good thing the way they can do. Now turn my attention now to Reverend James A. Lahai. How you see this process? This good governance process we will lead way to the elections come 2018. How we don't begin on full, beginning from the laying of papers in the parliament yesterday. How we don't see them. Because I want to watch election. I made a call now election watch.
Well, elections actually they contribute to good governance, but good governance not necessarily mean the elections. So I go on for focus myself on the elections aspect. Forget elections, you get for establish the electorate.
Okay.
Then you want them we will get for go vote for the government. you know, you not go able to get complete universal adult suffrage. So therefore, most countries can go.
And that universal adult suffrage, meaning that all the one that we suppose vote, we don't reach that age, they go vote.
Because you know go able to get everybody for vote. Now make people can limit themselves to the universal adult suffrage.
Right.
And country by country, they determine the age and category of people we go able for vote. And so for we own electoral process, we don't proclaim the date for that election for be the 7th of March. The need day for establish a voters register. In the establishment of the voters register, the difference like we will be done the talk, it is about another register where the country they in preparation for establish who no ever get.
Okay.
And so they don't try for blend that particular register with the national civil register alongside that of the voter register. The complication initially was they be want for the National Civil Registration Authority do a mass registration of people because civil register not limited to citizens.
Okay.
And then
that means to say even the foreigner them with the among we they say they will register them doing that thing.
Exactly. So that NEC go able extract in voters register from that civil register. And so that they be done result in a lot of conflicting information about them process here going out. And the final conclusion was that let NEC take the first shot, let him do the voter registration, and then in the process of doing their voter registration, let them also capture information where necessary for the civil register. Okay,
we're not only the 1 minute, Reverend. Maybe go down to Mr. Sheku. These are the man who wear the cap. They say who the cap fit, let them wear it. And now, Mr. Sheku see Johnny Bia, take me through this new voter registration who we brother they try for talk about. Just take us to educate we, make we learn. Anybody in a village there, once able to understand little radio yourself. Because as you talk, so this program in both radio and television, we are just break it down for Uber.
Thank you, moderator. Fambolena home. Good afternoon. I'm name Sheku C. Johnny, the Assistant to Executive Secretary in the National Electoral Commission. Not to a strange way, the National Civil Registration Authority and the National Electoral Commission come together for a registration where we all two could use the same materials for various purposes.
Right.
We all two get mandates from various portions of the Constitution and various acts. For NEC, we get 1991 Constitution, we establish we also get Public Elections Act of 2012, we also give money for operational activities. But the National Civil Registration, a new authority we government to establish through an Act of Parliament in 2016. We basically responsible by law for let we do voters registration for the purposes of elections. At the National Civil Registration, this time around, like Reverend Lahai don't say, now a new motivation, new project for Sierra Leone where we not ever done, where the country will get a profile of all people them where they did in Sierra Leone.
So, but what involved actually in that process of registration for the layman, we don't know, no go better book or everything they call waiting and waiting in need for understand before this day begin on the 20th. Because you know, for again, saying the 15th.
Yeah.
So we're talking about 5 days.
Yeah, 2012 we don't do registration, biometric registration, and we tell people then say that register they don't register now. No, not for register again. 5 years on so.
Right.
But this time round, because of this new project they call civil registration, then they take other areas where they want no Australians pass just for go vote. But for we as electoral commission, we collect a voters register. All Australians them we 70 years or older, we go be 18 years by March 2018.
Like the next bad day.
Yes. They're supposed to come out and register for the purposes of election. And when you register, you go through the registration process. There are steps. where you go through registration process and they give you slip for identify so you don't register.
Who side and they go register this register?
Well, this time round we don't establish 3,300 centers. Then last time round, I did 2,994 centers
across the whole country.
14 electoral districts. And then districts here, so we this time round we also get 132 seats in parliament where they represent the constituency system.
Right.
And each constituency we get an electoral area again where they call wards. So all the wards them where they at Sierra Leone we get ward coordinators them for, and where they don't establish centers them within them wards them, center like school building or like a public community center or court barrier who say people then they get place for sit down and people they could come when at 17 years plus or will be 18 years by next year, then go there with the national ID card or a voter's card or any card.
When a person don't get bad certificate, you don't get ID card, you don't work on the side. When a salon person and you don't pass it,
you don't get there any documentary proof. We don't make provision also for non-documentary evidence. We go for can prove say you know Sierra Leone like we use the chiefs them. We use the man and then community.
That's small village them.
And that's small villages who don't get them bat and death offices way for registers.
Yes.
But then once the community people somebody they when I don't post respective we time say this person will sabi him in 18 years then na citizen they will register you. And the centers here will they open right through the country way on the we don't do the trainings done. The 14 electoral districts. All of the centers we don't train down. We depend deployment of staff now. The ward coordinator depend deploy the staff now, and also the kids follow start registering on the 20th.
Okay.
Monday.
So about that, just only 1 minute. I want to bring Professor Black, but before that, you know, before we can talk, but the actual step, which the kind of question they go ask you, how will the whole process go within the court. Professor Black, this issue, we talk about good governance right now. The Reverend Indom mentioned, say, election are just one of the things. You get to know that what you need for level people and know, see the need, say, this time around, not for just your now, also tomorrow, complaints here, this government, and they do this. What thing, how you see this business about this election, and how which party play inside good governance?
Well, let me take on from the concept of good governance.
Yes, sir.
Good governance get a good package inside, but the most important one is participation.
Right.
Participation means that the citizens then get the environment, then for take part in decision making, in anything that will affect their lives. And of course, elections are a very key element in the exercise of democracy, what we call the franchise.
Right.
That now right to vote and be voted for. This is now an essential right of any citizen of any state. So as you rightly say, elections are just a component of good governance, but not everything about good governance, but like very important component. And so the steps, the way they lead to the elections, you get for be eligible for vote. So for like you eligible for vote, you get for register. Because we get the criteria where this you get for reach the voting age before you register. So that go down establish the legal basis for the participation of the citizens.
Right. Thank you. So, when you listen to us, they say Sabino Gayaba. If I would demand the talk, I don't want to stop the guy. I just want to take paper and pen, laughing, right? We'll go back to you, Mr. Johnny. So, take us through this process now. What person know which day? Okay, now this year, they call ward. Decide where you day. It's like you tap, now you forget register. So, what you could do with that money day?
Well, that money.
Only let's go picking them. We members they not on the day. And they go school. So how then would whether they would each 18 or we get for each 18 by next year?
Come 20th of March 2017, you go to the registration center
in Monday
area. This coming Monday.
Beginning what time would they look at?
Already for the past month now, the registration officer them, the ward coordinators, they don't go around the areas and they identify areas them. And even most of the training they we localize them to constituency level so that you will see people in the train with their new machines here.
Okay.
And they know already we don't identify them the one they working for work.
Right.
So if you then at an area, you go even if for ask them, they will tell you the ward win at this area. We will mean for you if you're the person that day you go one vote on polling day. What we can normally say like you look at people the way they come on like Wellington, Calvert Town, Waterloo, then they can do marketing at Abacha Street or Mabela. But then you get Trinity, you get and a wash way now mega stations to the type of people that can come.
Right.
Then I only marketing area, but when you off or you get to go back in the area. And this registration period will take 4 weeks span. It includes Sundays.
Okay.
And now thank God we need do marketing on Sunday.
On Sunday.
You go take your time, you go down the nearest registration within the area, so that you give opportunity for let you go register with then documented like your ID card, even the national voters register card, voter ID card we give last year, the old one. If you can't go, you go able for let them allow you for let you. The registration officers that we don't train them, we wait for the text. Who said gets doubt, say like speaking way you don't get for 18 years, but they say hey, this is short no more. Now in age or you don't 18 years. The way if you detect doubt, we get certain don't train them how they go for detect the areas that they, and if at all no documentary proof, no for that they can refer to non-documentary proof and the chiefs.
Yeah, fine. We don't get that point now. We don't know what's in because when you literally how the thing they go, how they go to go.
When you reach at the center, you go see people in queue, but if you don't meet,
they make line.
In line.
Come on, go get I want them. They know the bunch of I'm lying in the make. Now in a queue, no so.
Yes, sir.
You always first come. Now in wouldn't know what time other person come.
So you meet 3 people there at the registration center. The first one where you meet and then the registration officer kind of a supervisor on the whole area.
Right.
They get a questionnaire. We get all the questions where they require for nobody when now you sit. If you don't meet anybody before now first they give you accommodation, you sit down, then welcome you, then they ask you all of the questions you name and all the other things that they want to know from you. They record and fine. If doubt today, if you get any document you carry with them, if doubt today, they can for guide you. Like you know, sabi your age, they can for guide you. Let them forget something for filling form. Right. Get for fill up form day to all the areas then because the registration require only for voters registration then civil profile.
Two different
ones, but they put it inside one questionnaire. One questionnaire.
Yes.
So that until you fill all of that, then you pass on to the next registration, assistant registration officer one, when they actually input this data where you don't collect information, you put it inside the machine. When you put it inside the machine, the third one person with the assistant registration officer too, and they take the manual writing of the information, certain key things like your name, your age, the number where you dip an form, your sex, your address, you write them. For
whether you're a man or
woman, it write them. So if you go save in future, you carry the loss, then you then 2 paper where they give you because this man, this form where they fill for you. When they enter inside the machine, the last person, they get for cut them, they give you. But before you reach the last person, the person will put this information into the machine, they cut one paper, I give you one receipt. That receipt, the photo with the and the name and the age and which kind of person, man or woman.
Okay.
With the
all right, sir. Well, we'll come back to Reverend. Reverend, under the National Election Watch, as Mr. Johnny explained all of this. This gentleman, we Naina, the Assistant Executive Secretary, and the National Electoral Commission. What think can you mind how you see this process they unfold? Is this the way to go? Are you happy with it? I just want to let you make a little comment.
One important thing about elections is they know the left and two options. Everything gets a legal base. Every aspect of elections get a legal framework with a guidance. So not to matter of whether you like her or you not like her, now how the law say is supposed for go, now so is supposed for go. Right. And waiting the law say, then they follow. Now make we the National Election Watch, we observe the process. The basis on which we observe the process, not to whether it fine or it not fine.
Right.
But whether then they do them according to how the law say they're supposed to do them.
Right.
For look at the law, whether a fine law or not, that's now another component altogether. Because after all, don't observe the whole election activities. Because election now a circle, not to that election day no more. After the election, you get several other activities with election related. Like election offenses, petitions, and then continue. And so you go round. So we observe all, and then looking at the lessons learned, then we can approach now different sectors. We get something for do with the election with recommendations, and tell them what's supposed to happen. We go make we next electoral cycle activities go be better than the previous,
right.
And that include recommendations for legal reforms. It also will get for touch on some of the things we happen we do legal, but all go very well for like the participation of the people, like how Professor talked this one.
Right.
Because that one is very key in any electoral process. Because if people not participate, you might be getting the wrong people where they take up governance. Because the people no agree participate. Now you make agree with the call and plea of the minister. Whatever grievance policy you get, it's good for let you register.
Okay.
Apart from the advantages where this registration gets of the ID card where you get for serve you in different spheres of life, the very fact that you register don't put you into an advantage position for decision making at this country because you dey take part in deciding or would that get for be you chairman or mayor, would that get for be you councillor, would that get for be you member of parliament, would that get for be the president.
So there are 4 different type of elections that you get for take part in when you do this registration there as well.
That you vote there,
that you vote
they contribute to that decision.
Uh-huh.
So if you want this country for TNAP, and if you want let salon people then benefit per salon business,
yes,
it go fine for let you register and let you take part by that decision.
Professor Blah, all this preparation, the way they go, what do you like for say? Why you say them and how you think say they will improve them, or you think say the right thing next don't do so this time around for March then to today so?
Yes, it's very important.
Yes.
Because just like I say, it go beyond for just get the people and data for the vote, but also forget the profile of the citizens. Because elections, as you say, you get what you call the pre-election environment. You get the polling day, then you get the post-election environment. And they're all interlinked because one, they support the other. So in as much as now when they talk about the preparation for the voting, I think so preparing ahead for the post-election environment is also important. Because that will help to ensure the peace and democracy we will all yearn for.
Thank you. Let's return to Mr. Sheku Johnny, because definitely we can look at the APRM where Professor Black travel goes South Africa. We get pictures, we get videos, and our nine maker no one caught inside. Right now, you know, I want to talk some more about this exercise here. So when you prepare, you make sure say, like my brother Reverend say, if you not take part in the registration, you're not going to vote and you're not going to able to determine and decide who that going to be the next leader. Now they talk about councillor, they talk about chairman or mayor, they talk about member of parliament, and they talk for the alleged baba of or the father of the nation, when the next head of state will succeed His Excellency Dr. Ernest Baikoma. So, Mr. Johnny, where person register, for instance, now New England. Then you can't be say it travel, you know, meet up for Canada, New England. You not go to vote any side you do in this country. We get even we get a registration.
No.
Hey.
You know go for register, you know for vote outside who say you register. Now let me make a message already they go say who say you register and they if for vote.
Yeah, tell me more about this party also because a lot of people they ask me that.
If for instance me they stay na Kosotan. Then my nearest registration center now, the REC school.
Yes.
I registered it. Then sometime on polling day, I did in a head office in a situation room. Then the school day, I keep betting just next headquarters. I know we'll get right for go day, for go vote. Because not today I be register. If I get permission, pass and take permission, we'll go back na Kosoton, na REC school side register, and then me detail today. We don't go allow me for let a vote. So you vote, who say you be register. For now, no one change that message, the message that way. If you don't prepare your mind, say yeah, I go for vote for this person. Like that, you find efforts during these 4 weeks. Let you go register day. Find one day let you go register because you don't go find you register at different side. Then when the political campaign they go up now, then they can't meet you, so they go say, okay, you want to participate now. But come polling day, once you don't be registered in that area, they never allow you for later.
Okay, Mr. Junior done again, and they see 2 different dates them when they count on the phone a lot. You know, so they say from the 20th of March, till go reach the 12th of June.
Yeah, okay.
No, no, they say I don't
clarify that one day.
Yeah, big.
I will not explain, say this registration time, right? Now 2 phases.
Yeah, okay.
The first phase, even Reverend, we don't clarify that the National Electoral Commission will take the lead. that conflict are there between we and the National Commission for Civil Registration. They don't know now. The National Electoral Commission, they take the lead for prepare the voters register. Right. Because that's the mandate of the commission. So we start on the 20th, this coming Monday, right through the 16th of April.
Okay, the first phase.
And that 10 days, with anybody who want to register, an Australian under 18 years and above, you register this period. Your name would be on the voters register. Right. We allow a few days for movement of the kids. Let them come. We download all the data and clean the machines again. Then the process continues phase 2. Then now it deal with anybody who will be not left out, we not below 17 years, or anybody will not be there again, but you don't come to see this because the civil registration now really want to take a profile of all people living in Sierra Leone. So then that phase 2 we go begin after the voters registration done on the 16th of April 2017.
All right, sir. Oh, thank you very much. I want to just ask. With the final last question, we will concentrate on Professor Black because, like I say, my listeners and my viewers and our own Professor Black travel go South Africa, go represent Salon Nikel, good message of goodwill, good governance, democracy, and the rule of law, and it bring a lot of big package for people understand how we go benefit as a people in this country. But before we go there, I turn to Reverend, we're posting register like how I just give that example now, New England. One thing or another, you give a travel who come there, for instance, and you don't think say they don't disenfranchise. That is, they don't stop them from participating in this very important thing. Think it's a fair law than them people there they do. Think it's the right thing.
Well, in the initial discussion with you, I tell you, see, elections, every aspect of them, you get a legal framework. You get law with a guide how it will happen. And so we will concern is whether they follow that law. And so whether you find, what they talk so, but you not fine. But that's what the law say. And at that day, we look at for able evaluate them tomorrow. Whether they do a good job or they not do a good job. Now you make, even for observation, we don't develop a strategy. Since we now go able to cover all 3,300 registration centers, we don't decide for the 28 days, we don't decide for take a statistical sample of 900. Right. And then that 900 we take statistically by random sampling.
Just touch the outside.
And we deploy we observers another 900 sample stations, and we therefore observe the first week, the first 4 days of the first week, the first 3 days of the second week, the first 3 days of the third week, and the last 4 days of the last week. The first week,
Master Savi.
The first week, we want to see the turnout.
Yes.
We want to see the rush. And then the middle weeks, we want to see how the thing they trickle, whether the tension still there or whether it drop.
Right.
And then the final week, we take the last 4 days because it will give you an opportunity for you to know whether in fact the turnout don't shoot up again. Because most times from experience, people they wait for when the time they don't. And then we also go able to get the opportunity for see on that last day whether you get plenty people where they now the queue them we not go able vote, we not go able register. Rather. And then there will be an evidence for if there is going to be a call for an extension.
Right.
So now we decide for strategize that way for engage with the registration process. And also we got certain concerns that way would they follow for that exercise. And one key one is the issue of ordinarily resident. Being ordinarily resident are a provision in the Public Elections Act of 2002. But then the 12. Then yes. You also get the 1991 Constitution where they say once the person avail himself, that once the person go to the registration center, they're supposed to register down there. In 2012, we get a problem because first NEC, radio and TV, they say ordinarily resident. that community where you get tie with, that community where you get contact with, where you get roots with. Now there, if you want for vote, you go vote. But midway in the process, after where communities don't begin for protect that particular legal provision of ordinarily resident, NEC changed to the 1991 constitution.
Oh my God.
We no go want a situation whereby midway in the game, you change the rules.
Okay.
So now make all day that are one of the issues we actually get for look at, and whether then they give that receipt to the applicant, because now in are the only claim for proof say you don't register.
Thank you very much, Reverend. Reverend James A. Lahai, now in the national coordinator, National Election Watch, what they call new. And now we have just before we return to Mr. Shekusi Johnny, let wrap up this process entire nicely. All the things and what we don't mention entire so that we remember all the go now we also remember all the things and talk now and what you will see. We go to Professor Usman Black. Professor, you go South Africa. They are tell me what you could do in South Africa. What you can go over here?
Well, you know, say the APRM winner the African peer review mechanism, you get a family. The family, then we own countries them, then we also get the Continental Secretariat in South Africa, then we also get a panel of eminent persons that we also did in South Africa. And normally the heads of states they can meet in various countries.
Right.
But then all three actors they always get the need for meet together. And one thing will happen of late now the APRM now, what they call revitalization.
Hey.
People then find out say the APRM scheme as it start 2003 be done they drop. At the various countries then. Right. So then decide for call a meeting. We call now 3 interrelated meetings, and the first one now we call them the expert forum. Right. Where they bring in Master Sabi man that we look about governance in Africa.
So now would I come on a salon?
Well, now me, the Minister of Political and Public Affairs, Honorable Nane Thomas, and one other assistant from the Ministry of Political and Public Affairs. You get over 50 people them will participate.
Hey,
you get from various countries then. You get the APRM National Governing Councils of all the 37 countries that now we don't accede, they be attend. Then you get Master Sabi Mandem from the African Union. We get 2 important components in the African Union. We're very key now. We get what you call the African Governance Architecture. We're related in the African Union where they deal with good governance. So the director of that outfit there, he go the meeting. Then we also get what you call the African Peace and Security Architecture. You know, say now we know they just talk about governance, but we know they talk about peace and security. So the African Union gets a very special structure where they call the African Peace and Security Architecture. The head of that and you get very other big alleged the way go. You get Professor Gambari. Then you also get a former president of South Africa, Thabo Mbeki, because we began what they call the APRM Commemoration Day. The APRM they established on 9th March 2003. So this is now the 14th birthday of the APRM. So now 3 in 1 bullet.
So what happened during this time as well?
Very interesting. Because when we start with the expert session, the thing they really when they talk about another expert session, they talk about one. The APRM as a monitoring instrument for look through the other African countries and what they do with the governance.
Right.
And also, they don't give the APRM another very interesting mandate. For say now, we get what they call the AU Agenda 2063. You see, now a very important, like now the 50-year development blueprint for the African Union. And that agenda there, it gets about 7 aspirations. 7 aspirations where they do about poverty, alleviation, about gender, they talk about human rights. So now they say, for let them go monitor the implementation of that agenda 2063 in Africa, now the APRM for that. Though the other one, you know, so we don't get what we call the Global Sustainable Development Goals 2030, where the UN back don't put for guide countries in the world. So they say back the APRM, now for monitor the implementation of agenda 2063. But waiting we've been they discuss, me in particular tell the forum, if fine for let them give the APRM added mandate. I say, but 2 things then get for really step up to. For make sure say then build the capacity of the national structures them the various countries we get for implement this. Because imagine we get for monitor first the performance of the countries in the 4 thematic areas.
Yeah.
Democracy, economic governance, corporate governance, and socio-economic development. Now they say, look, we monitor Agenda 2063, we're fine. And then take that point very serious. So now then they think I'm through now the AU, how they will come, for example, now each of the countries. Because even though I tell them, say, now the meeting say, in the first place, even this very APRMO they struggle with, but could people then in Africa and the various countries not even know about that? I say, I'm not going to now talk about Agenda 2063 and global, the global agenda. I say, so now, then therefore really make sure say they educate and popularize the TR and the various countries.
Right. So, Professor, what thing you come with from how them famous, wonderful idea they are, the planting Google 2063, you see, it's good for the person they look ahead. Yes, but what thing you come with, what immediately people of Salon will benefit from?
Well, the good thing where I really get for tell the people in Salon, when a good news from the meeting.
Yes.
They recognize Salon participation at the APRM highly. Now we don't get 37 countries where they already accede. And out of these 37 countries, 19 of them countries then they already don't peer review. And Salon don't make progress because we don't almost present all the progress report.
Right.
Remember, we accede, we review it in 2012. And in 2015, the president he presented the first and second progress report. Right. And now, because of the progress, they don't even allow we for present the third and final progress report this June and July where the president they go present. And beyond that, they don't also allow we now for qualify for a second generation peer review. We're not a big fit. Because now the APRM, they talk of universal African accession. That all countries, they now get 55 member states. We don't join the African Union. Right. You know, Morocco just joined the Union. So they say by 2018, all the 55 countries for don't accede to the APRM. And they also notice Salon don't they ahead. Because when we will launch the first and second progress report, the president publicly committed himself for say the monitor the implementation of Agenda 2063 and the global goals. And now it means the country don't even be there ahead before we go discuss in South Africa. And when we come, when we discuss with the CEO, they say that they really look forward to Salon for lead this continental drive. And another thing will happen also where Salon feature is very high. They don't set up now what you call a consultative committee of all national governing councils in Africa.
Right.
And they set up saying that the body where they look over Africa now. And then they appoint now the last in South Africa for the secretary.
Right.
Then the chairperson of the NGC now because now president.
Okay.
So then they really look forward to Salon leadership.
Right. So thank you very much, Professor Bula. This is a talk we're not going to be done today, this APRM, because when we look at good governance, we look at democracy, we also look at peace. We're not going to take any text message because this is with the next week we continue with this registration process. We get another, we will get Reverend James A. Lahai again from New. We welcome him next week. We have Mr. Sheku C. Johnny Bak na Inkomo na the National Electoral Commission. We will continue for what right now. Just for wrap up the program, I just want to ask Mr. Johnny, what person registered and get this receipt? If you lost my hand, what's in the happen?
You register, then you lost the receipt before
they go give you the card.
Before they go give you the card, that data once it don't go inside the machine. We also they keep a manual copy. We depend the journal. The same information we will need. We will depend the voters register. It will did it. They will be able for identify you say you been registered and indeed you name depend the voters register. But like you to say, I want for to really emphasize this last phase, the phase of the voters registration, phase 1 of the process.
Right.
Like on voters registration, we begin on the 20th of March, Monday, to 16th of April 2017. Now 4 weeks. You know, remember in 2012, we do registration in phases. Each phase, now 15 days, now one center. They will give 2 days for let the machine move, go to other center. They will continue for 4 phases. And so we do that registration. But this phase 1 now, if now 2 phases, but the first phase 1 with a voters registration, now straight blast, 4 weeks, so 28 days.
20 to 16.
For the 20th of March
16th
to 16th of April, we complete 28 days, 4 weeks. And if you see that 4 weeks, then you get 4 Sundays, 4 Sundays, 4 Saturdays, where you will get time for go day and register. So I mean, the appeal to the family, also for let them go. Visit the nearest center in the area and the ward. You register there.
Also, you look for day for go vote.
For vote.
Go register.
Then they give you 2 receipts. The one, now the manual one, that information they take you from you. Then they give for sign out. They give you the small slip. Then the machine where they take the
Machine
photo, the photo they panam and that same information, the machine you
Yes,
give you,
right.
attach and then give you.
Right.
Go keep and say, but if you lost, you still come back to that particular center, you
Okay.
went for camp for to receive your ID card,
All right.
the information will still there and then wait for give you ID card.
But a final word from the Reverend Lahai. Reverend, which motivation word talk will you get for people in quick one before we go? As the man with the watch where you either eagle eye, you watch also and make sure say this thing go fine. People and do the thing and get for do, the government do the thing and get for do, we not civil society do the thing and get for do. What's not the motivational talk or one word where you could just tell people that so that this process will go before sir?
Yeah, plenty time people then no want for register or take part per election business because they not get confidence in the process. Me want for assure the public that we dey follow up on everything we get for happen about this election.
Right.
And we get for the inform the public about our findings
Okay.
and waiting our recommendations.
Right, sir.
So I dey encourage everybody that that's not the reason why you no want for participate. Count on we don dey do this work over 15 years since 2002. We no ever disappoint this nation and we no go disappoint Salome this time around again.
Amen. Well, on that note, I just want to thank me studio guests them at the beginning for my far left way now the famous man Professor Usman Blah, we just come out South Africa, bring book information, but the time so short, you not do because Bokutin anyway will look. But next time we'll call him again, we can talk about this South Africa meeting where APRM the whole day. And of course, we also thank the gentleman we come on, Mr. Johnny, we come on, the National Electoral Commissioner, and of course the Reverend Lahai from the National Election Watch. And me, where they bring this program on behalf of the MPPA, our team, again, my co-producer, Mr. Usman Dumbuya. I also get the MPPA communication unit, now the ministry, na 9th floor, na EU building. If you get any concern, please no hesitate, can at the ministry day. Until we meet again next week on both radio and television, same place, same time, right here. Please continue to watch all your programs now. The national broadcaster, your voice, my voice. We're now SLBC radio and television. Until we see you again, tata, bye bye. Have a fantastic afternoon.
Announcing that parliamentary